Hi, friend. Welcome to Wild and Waking, a sacred space for the woman unraveling what no longer fits, remembering the truth that's always lived inside her, reclaiming her joy, her voice, her power, and rising fully, fiercely, and without apology. I'm your host, Emily Rushell, and together we'll explore what it means to live in alignment, lead with soul, and awaken a life of abundance, authenticity, and purpose. Let's begin. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Wild and Waking. Today, I get to introduce you to my friend Leyla, who actually you have heard about before. I've talked about you on the podcast this summer when you were like delivering baby messages to me in that like wild and crazy week. I'm pretty sure I called you out by name. So this is Leyla, the healer, on Instagram and Threads. We are going to talk about Akashic Records, past life stuff. We did a session together yesterday and it was insane. So we're going to talk about that. We're just going to go a million directions per usual. Leyla, welcome to Wild and Waking. So delighted you are here.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so psyched to be here and talk to you and talk all the things. I know we have a lot to talk about.
We have so much to talk about. Like I made a bullet point list of like things I specifically want to ask you about. I'm like, we're not even going to get through half this.
It's okay. It's all right. Hey, if I have to come back, I'll come back, whatever.
I love a part two. Okay, Leyla, for someone getting to know you for the very first time, give us some context of who you are, where you are, and ultimately how you got into the work that you are doing today. I don't even have my microphone next to me. Jeez Louise. That probably sounds a lot better, huh? Okay, anyway. Tell us about yourself, Leyla.
I'm Leyla the healer. I teach healers the healing modalities. I also do the healing modalities. I'm a licensed hypnotherapist. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm a business mentor, and I also am a professional global healer. And I really see clients from all over the world, which is really cool. And I feel like my bread and butter, though, like seriously, is like helping people with like really deep trauma, like it's always been my thing. Like as a therapist, I'm always like, I want to get to the root of the problem, and that's been really cool. But like, what I've noticed as being a therapist is that, therapy isn't enough to heal. That was through my own personal journey. And then also realizing too, like, oh, my clients are looking for something more than just talk therapy. So I blend a lot of like mental health tools with the energetics and spirituality because I feel like they go together.
I so relate to that experience. And my stint in therapy was much shorter than I think some people's even are. And I think it's an incredibly powerful tool. It was a perfect first step for where I was at. But even I got to the point where I was like, okay, I really love my therapist. I could come and talk to her for an hour every week. But even she was like, you have friends for that? Like, I don't think you need therapy anymore. And I'm like, are you breaking up with me? But it was after that I started to really dig into, okay, there's so much more beneath the surface. There's so much that lives in our bodies, right? And that opened up kind of my whole realm of even just like body first healing, much less even getting into like this deeper energetic and spiritual work. But I think there's people who have been in therapy for decades and who are like still on the same thing. And now it's like, okay, well, of course. Of course. Okay, so perfect segue. I would love for you to talk about some of the different modalities, Reiki, Akashic Records, past life regression, because I think in a lot of ways, there's a lot of overlap. Like even in the session yesterday, like there's some overlap, but they are kind of distinctly different. And I know that for a lot of the women listening, these are like words they're starting to tune into, but don't totally know what they all mean, how they work, what to do. So you just give us your full spiel.
Yeah, I'll give you my full spiel. So Reiki is really cool when you have like stuck emotions in the body. And like, Reiki is really used at its core to move out disease, sickness, and illness in the body before it becomes a physical issue. So like that's why people do Reiki. It's not like to see colors or like la 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 la. Like that's cool and all, but like it's really to go inside of the vessel of the body and the aura and to clear out everything that's causing your person or your client or yourself pain before it becomes a physical illness. And it's kind of crazy. It's like, talking about my dad, right? Like my dad had like a quadruple heart bypass surgery. And it was, spirit told me, they were like, yeah, it's because he held all of his emotions and feelings inside. Reiki energy healing could have really helped him if he knew about it before, to move the energy out of his arteries before they got super clogged. So Reiki is really cool because like Reiki is almost like, I think it would be like talk therapy and then like Reiki. Like Reiki is like your second step of like, okay, I'm interested. Like, what's good? Reiki is next. Reiki, I always say Reiki is the door.
Yeah. It's especially for the person who's experiencing it, it can be very gentle, very relaxing. Like, you don't even have to be fully tuned into what's energetically happening. Like, you could straight up take a nap.
You could straight up take a nap. You're there to rest and receive, which some people do struggle with in our capitalistic society of like resting. I get a lot of people, because I've had to work through this, of like, I don't know how to rest. I don't know how to receive, So that is fun in itself. But, you're right. Like when you get Reiki, you can just knock the fuck out. Sometimes it's cool because you'll see stuff, you'll know stuff, people will come to you who may be past. That's really cool. I love Reiki for that. And like, I love doing like really deep Reiki in the body, in like the cells. I have this theory that like the mitochondria of the cell is where every Reiki healer needs to go, because it's the powerhouse of the cell. And it actually came to me in a download. I was like, did I just solve cancer? Like, what the fuck? They were saying, Spirit was saying to me, like in a session where I was like teaching Reiki, they were like, yeah, how do you cure cancer? You go to the mitochondria of the cell. And I was like, okay. So
It's
that
that
was
deep.
really
Yeah.
cool. It's really that deep, like, because you're literally regenerating the cells. So Reiki is that. Okay, if we're talking about the next thing that I think is cool for people to do after Reiki, right? That would be past life regression hypnotherapy. Okay. Now, past life regression hypnotherapy and Akashic Records are similar, right? And a lot of people have kind of heard both, right? But the difference for me for past life regression hypnotherapy and Akashic Records is the way that you're dropped in to the session. So like past life regression hypnotherapy is a little bit more gentle. It's a little bit more like hypnotherapy based. You go in like a different way than you would the Akashic Records. You don't look at your book. So like when you're talking about the Akashic Records, you're talking about like your book's soul of like lives, past, present, parallel, and future. Okay. So like you can look at anything in there. You can look at ancestral shit in there. Like it's a whole thing, right? But past life regression is kind of just accessing one or two past lives with hypnotherapy. And this is really cool for people whose spiritual gifts aren't as developed. So it's like maybe for my feelers and my knowers, past life regression hypnotherapy is really cool for that. Akashic Records is where you're going to go to like multiple lives. You can kind of go anywhere. It's kind of like cool because you can literally go wherever you need to go. And the work is really similar. Like you're going to take back soul pieces of yourself you lost due to trauma. You're going to get rid of soul contracts you agree to that are hurting you, right? You're going to take the pain out of your body in both healing modalities. It's just the way you're dropped in. And also, it is the way you work with your spiritual gifts. So I always say, people are going to do Akashic Records. I want them to be more spiritually gifted so that they can move around. I'd love for somebody to be able to see and hear, and these are more spiritually advanced gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like the difference. I'd say Akashic Records is something that people should build up to. I think that everybody should do Akashic Records work. I can't tell you. I have so many fucking stories of how the Akashic Records has changed my life and other people's lives around me. And you know what's crazy, Emily, is that everybody is supposed to have access and remember their past lives. But when we are born into like matrix programming, we are wiped from our past lives. So it's like, how does the soul know how to get better? They almost don't want you to get better. They want you to keep staying in the same loops over and over again and be a slave to the system.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously there are practitioners, healers, people who can guide you through this, which is what we did yesterday. But I've also, have seen different books, podcasts, meditations. Like if someone is interested in learning more or starting to dabble in this within yourself, I mean, yes, obviously go book a call with Leyla, but where else can we start to kind of dive into this more?
Yeah, I feel like one of the best people, there's two people that I really like when we're talking about past life regression hypnotherapy and also the Akashic Records. First of all, Akashic Records, Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon is a baddie, okay? Anything Dolores Cannon is going to be good for you to like listen to. She talks about the Akashic Records all the time. She's like everybody's favorite grandma, like she actually passed on, which sucks because she was really fucking cool. But she talks a lot about the Akashic Records. And a lot of people, before they like get any work done, they'll kind of like read about it with her, and she really gets the wheels going even more. I love it. I love her. I'm like, thank you for laying the groundwork, babe. So we got her, right? Then we got Brian Weiss. Okay, Brian Weiss. I love this man. I've never met this man. I would love to meet this man, okay? Manifestation. But he is like a really famous past life regressionist. And also, right now, which is really cool, he's actually doing studies with groups of people on the future. So he's taking people in like really big groups to kind of study like what the future is going to look like through
Interesting.
through people's experiences and stuff. But he does really great past life regression work, the soul's journey, and like why like trauma happened to us. Because, for a lot of us, we've been through a lot of shit, like life is dirty, earth school is dirty, like you're here to learn to grow, that's what it is. You're here to learn to evolve, you know?
Yeah. When we're looking at Akashic Records, past life, that kind of healing work, what are some of kind of like the concrete ways that doing that specific type of healing work like translates to our very real everyday life problems, things we're going through, things that are holding us back?
So a lot of people, right, like have these like repetitive patterns in their lives. One I get a lot is like, it's cute. It's always like, Layla, like I can't call in any money. And it's like, that's like the first layer of the problem is like, I can't call in any money, right? But if you look underneath of that wounding, most of the time it comes down to like trust and safety and feeling like secure, and it's not even about the money. The money is like the byproduct. You know what I mean? That's what you're seeing like go in and out of your account, right? And you not be able to hold on to it and your relationship be fucked up, but like actually it's a lot deeper. So when people come to me, they're usually going through like really deep repetitive patterns in their lives. They almost know that this didn't just start here. You know what I mean? Like, especially for all my like astrology girlies out there, if you have like Chiron wounding, right? Or you have like karmic wounding, right? If we're looking at like the North Node, we're looking at the South Node, we're looking at the Chiron, even some of the planets, right? Like a lot of that will even tell you where you have these repetitive patterns, right? If somebody has a Chiron wounding, like for me, my Chiron is in Virgo. So it's about like being crazy, like doing too much, being a perfectionist, like everything is perfect, right? Like to develop that, I have had at least 5 to 10 past lives where that has been a soul problem for me. And it generates to be like a Chiron wounding or like a North Node or a South Node thing, where your soul is trying to evolve. So people usually come to me and they're like, I can't get out of this pattern. I feel like a lot of times, Emily, I'm like the last resort for people.
Because they've tried the therapy, they've read the personal development books, they've listened to all the podcast episodes, they've done the mindset work, they've hired different coaches. And it's like, I'm still stuck on the same shit. How do I actually get through this?
Yeah, and then we have to look back, right? Like I remember with you were pretty pissed about this. She was pretty pissed about this. But she was like, "We're in this life." Like you wanted to go past life. And I was like, girl, we going past life. I don't care how long this motherfucker takes, we going. But like you were like, I'm frustrated that I'm in this life. And you even said it too. You were like, I've done so much therapy about this. Why are we here? And I've been there. Like when you said that, I really like felt you. I was like, I know exactly how she feels. It's frustrating, but it's like, we have to start in this life first and then kind of trace it backwards. So when people come to see me, we look at this life first, why money was hard, and then we go backwards. And what we're really doing with this work is freeing past timelines of yourself. So you'll even notice, like you even said it yesterday, like we did a past life, remember? And she was like all she was kind of like different in the beginning. By the end of it, she had grown to be an old woman. And that's something she didn't experience in that life because she had died pretty young, So it's interesting, like you can even see it through the work, like your past life self, even yourself from this life will change. You're freeing yourself from the shackles and the stories and almost like rewriting the story for yourself. That's probably another step that I could take even further of like, okay, now go live out like a good scene for you, where things are going right. Because mostly it's like when it went wrong. But yeah, you're freeing people's timelines. Like that's the point of this. Like you're cleaning it up energetically so that you can move on and it's not sticking out like a sore thumb anymore.
Well, it's almost like I'm envisioning this inverted pyramid, of like what you think the problem is. I even think about the way that I was coaching years ago, right? And like the underlying problem, if I could summarize it, was like confidence. And then it was like, okay, well, actually, underneath confidence is like this severance of self trust and the stuff that's living in your body, right? And so we kind of get into the body, the somatics, the nervous system where it's being held. And then like that kind of unlocks some pieces of it, right? It's not about the mindset, just do the thing. Like that gets you so far. You get a little bit deeper and then you get a little bit deeper and then you get a little bit deeper. And so this is almost like you want to talk about getting to the root. It's like you are going back into different lifetimes in your soul's journey where this first or continuously showed up. And it's like erasing the problem from where it started, not just continuing to put band-aids on it through, mindset work and affirmations.
Yes, because because you'll even notice too, like for me, right? Like I have been poor in so many past lives. It's sick. Like it's fucked up, and I'm like, oh, here's another one, or I'm homeless, like what? And it like pisses me off a little bit because I'm like outside on the street again selling
like
like
when do
Mother
I get to be a
Marys.
queen?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you know how many lifetimes I sold like little statues of Mother Mary? Like, it's ridiculous. I'm like, please buy my 25-cent statue of Mother Mary, please. But anyway, so like I had a really hard time like calling money into my business when I first started because it was coming at me from like ancestors and it was also coming at me from like my past lives, right? So something that I had to do, and I still do this, every time I want to hit like a new money milestone in my business, I have to go into my Akashic Records and do the clearing work to free the past versions of myself so they're not causing ruckus for me to not call in money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So like now my business, which is really incredible, it like hits 20K months now. And it took me a long time to get there to like hit that, and like even saying that out loud, I'm like, oh my God. But like, I had to do a lot of Akashic Records work to be able to even hold $1 in my hand.
Well, and I feel like this is so powerful for the people who just feel stuck, even though they're doing the work. They've been committing, they've doing the things. And it's like, why am I still stuck? It's like, well, okay, here's an invitation to go.
You got to go deeper. You got to go deeper. There's more. There's always more, especially if you feel like you're an old soul. Like this is crazy. In a healing session, my healer determined how many incarnations I've had. This is my 143rd incarnation.
Wow.
Yeah. She like used a pendulum and like went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And like she was like, Leyla, it's still going. It's still going. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, yeah, this is your 143rd life, and like you've been here a lot, to figure out where it went wrong. So this work has been like for me, like why I learned all this shit. Like I spent like a good like 2 or 3 years just like learning all the shit, because I was like, I need this, and
Yeah.
then it turned into, well, it worked for me. I would love to work it for somebody else. And then I'm seeing like people's timelines literally change, like from doing the work. And it's, this is part of it. Like there's so many other parts of the healing journey of like integration and embodiment. But like, I really think that you need to understand like what happened and why for you to really like let it go.
Okay, follow-up question. Because you have a background in clinical, therapy, I would be so fascinated, and I think I thought about this yesterday, of like the intersection between like the spiritual, energetic work that's happening kind of behind the scenes in the records, in the past lives, and the intersection or overlap of that with like our modern psychology.
Yes, good fucking question. You're right. So mental health doesn't just come from nowhere. People don't just like wake up one day and they're like, I'm a schizophrenic person, or I have schizophrenia, or I have like, right, like me, Emily, like I didn't wake up one day and I'm like, I'm bipolar. Like that didn't just happen for me. So if you're thinking about this, right, there is an overlap. Absolutely. This is another reason why people come to see me, because they're like, I'm sick of feeling anxious. I'm sick of feeling fucking depressed. I'm sick of having bipolar episodes all the time. I don't understand why. And then you go back into your records and, slowly over time, when the soul doesn't like figure out the issue, right? It becomes mental illness. It builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and then it becomes this diagnosis. But like, really, why did Leyla become bipolar? Right? Like, I've asked myself this a lot because I'm like, I don't feel like this is fully mine as like Leyla here in this life. Like I don't feel like Leyla in this life has mental health problems. Like I think that it's coming from the past. And I was absolutely right. Most of your issues are coming from your family, your ancestry. So that's like one way it builds up, right? It's like the people who don't take care of their mental health. So like in my family, everybody has bipolar because it's built up and it's built up and it's built up and nobody's done shit about it. Nobody's addressed it. They're just like, yeah, dad's in a fucking mood today. And it's like, no, dad's going through a bipolar episode. Okay. So there's that angle. There's multiple angles. And then there's also like your soul's like past life journeys. Right. So for me, I'm just going to give a snippet of this. This is so fucking ridiculous. I struggle with relationship with men like a lot. I am straight. People think I'm gay. I'm not. I just love the gay community. Okay. But I'm fucking straight. I know. What a fucking tragedy. Okay.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, she likes dick. Okay, anyways, so I I have struggled with relationship with men for a really long time, okay? And something that happens to me when I'm dating a guy is I become like a little manic. And I recognize I'm especially when I was younger. Girl, she manic, like this dude be making her manic, And then I was like, why does this happen to me? And then I realized I had a past life where I was married to like a really toxic guy. And this is just one incarnation. So this has happened multiple times for me. I actually fell down and I gashed my head, and it was the 1920s. And he took me to a mental health asylum and said that I was crazy and dropped my ass off and went and married some other bitch. And he told me he was going to come back for me. And I sat there every day waiting for this motherfucker to come back for me. And he never did. And I went fucking crazy. over it. Because I was like, people would tell me, even in the mental health hospital, they'd be like, Leyla, he's not coming back. And I'd be like, he's coming back for me, and like hold on to this because it was the only thing that was like keeping me going. Being stuck in a 1920s mental health hospital was not the place you wanted to be. We're talking like lobotomies. We're talking about the electric shock therapy. I did all that shit. Okay. I did it. All right. But I'm saying I didn't work that out in that life. So that kind of like carried over into this life. Like shit doesn't just get erased,
Mm.
from your past lives. Like I need people to understand that. Like the shit that you went through in the past doesn't get erased. The body holds the score. The soul holds the score, right? The mind even holds the score a little bit, and then you're wondering like, well, why am I like this? And it's like, dude, this is a buildup of the past. To even give yourself like a real ass shot in this life is to like know where you fucked up before. And that's why I was saying, like, we're supposed to remember our past lives. That's supposed to be knowledge that we are born with as souls, but we're being washed and kind of corrupted as human beings to not remember it. And then it's like, well, how do I get better? And then you see all these like heavy ass mental health issues. And that's why when people come and talk to me who are like, really do have serious mental health issues, I'm never, ever treating them like they're crazy because they're not. A lot of what they're saying is this stuff and they don't understand why. So you're exactly right. There is an overlap between both. And like, I really hope one day, Emily, like I really want to go back for my PhD and I really want to like make a theory or like a study or something of this to really blend them both together and finally publish that like both of them work. And there's like a concrete like steps you take to like get through it.
Well, I think even just and maybe this is partially my own conscious awareness, in the past 5 years, the conversation around mental health and the connection to the body and energetics has like completely transformed. And
Absolutely.
so
Yep.
I don't think it's unrealistic that we're heading in the direction where like the next steps in that is going to be these spiritual pieces.
Yeah, because I think we're all like collectively waking up to the fact that like this is so 5D. I think for a long time we were just looking at like 2D and 3D and it's like not enough to like really move through shit. And therapists get really fucking pissed off at me, dude. If you want to see like a brawl on like online, it's like telling therapists that the therapy's not enough. A lot of them are holding on so tightly that it's this works, this works, this works. And it does. But if you're going to talk about really letting go and moving on, you have to think outside the box and try something a little different.
It's a piece of the puzzle.
It is. It is. And our ancestors knew that. The indigenous people knew that. And now what I'm waking up to is that a lot of the indigenous practices are whitewashed now into something else.
Oh gosh,
It's
yeah.
super fucked up to me, And their shit works better than our shit.
I mean, across the board. Like,
yeah.
You go to any continent on the country and really dig into what they were doing in civilization times. And it's like,
civilization.
right? And it's like, wow, you had literally everything figured out that we're just now being like, this is a good idea. What if we did this?
I know. It's like, and then we're like taking it a step further and we're colonizing it and we're whitewashing it, and it's like, it's not as good as what they were doing. Like I found out like through my hypnotherapy studies. And like when I found this out, I was like, I did this. I know I fucking did this. I know it. I feel it. It was like in India, they used to do surgeries on people and they didn't use anesthesia. They used hypnotherapy. And that's how they would do surgery. And the people wouldn't feel shit because they were under hypnosis.
And they were incredibly successful.
Yeah. So that's what like really trips me out. I think that when the collective fully wakes up, which I think will be like by 2030, a lot of this is going to shift. And I really do believe that like The best thing that you can do for yourself is to do this work and get curious, and to also start opening your spiritual gifts. Like, seriously, like I think that is like top tier work right now. I actually have like a third eye meditation. I actually recorded it like 4 years ago.
I probably needed it at 3 a.m. last night when my third eye was like on fire.
Girl, it's really good, and it puts people to sleep, which is cool. It also helps people get messages. People are using it. It's really cool because people are using it at like all different times of day and like telling me about it. I feel like I'm running like a third eye case study, you know? Like, I used it in the morning, I used it at night, and I used it in the middle of the day. I used it over 30 days. Like, it's all this stuff coming out about it. And I made it really like low cost because I was like, fuck it. Like, I want everybody to have access to this. I actually sold like 200 copies of this
Wow.
third eye meditation. Yeah. And the stories coming out from it are incredible. And people are actually starting to like pick up on shit. People
Wow.
are starting to like feel more and know more, you know, and like things are coming online. And I'm like, I think part of my job is to like awaken as many people as possible, whether I trigger the shit out of them or like I help them open their spiritual gifts.
Mm. Okay, this is a conversation that came up in one of my group programs this week, is what that process looks like. You know, when your spiritual gifts, when your psychic gifts kind of come online, and like, what do they mean, right? Like, what is mine? Like, where do I go from here? How do I access this? How do I manage it? You know, and even within the conversation, there was a lot of comparison of like, oh, I feel like I should be doing this, but blah, 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 blah. Here's all these other things. And everyone was like, okay, but that's just different, right? So I would love for you to talk
Well,
about.
there's so many things to do. It almost feels like overwhelming. Like, it's like my third eye, my third eye, my spiritual gifts, and it's like, okay, what do you do with it? First and foremost, we're gonna talk about fucking safety. Okay, this is the shit a lot of people miss. Right? We need to learn how to like ground down as best as we can. And I'm not even talking about like being Buddha and like going outside on the grass. That's cool, you know, but like
Man, I
even
love
if
that.
you like knit or like you wash the dishes, you know, or like you do like, you know, mundane tasks, like that's also grounding. And I feel like that needs to be taught first with protection, you know, like how to protect yourself. I think that everybody at this point, if you're using your spiritual gifts at not, should know how to protect themselves energetically, especially if you're in a field where you're giving and giving and giving and giving and working with people all the time. Hello, that's called energy hygiene. Okay,
Yeah.
that is
So
super important.
how do we learn that? What do you mean when you say that?
Yeah,
I
like
mean, I know, but for someone listening.
yeah, no, like almost like learning how to like call upon your guides, right? Like, even if you don't know who your guides are, like your spirit team, like saying like, please protect me, you know, like please protect me. Like, starting to open the conversation of talking to the people around you that you can't see, but you know that are there is huge. Another thing to do too would be like I said, like to ground your energy. Spend time doing the stupid shit to feel in your body. Like, we all are like, I have to do laundry. But it's like, I actually love doing laundry because it makes me feel present. You know, I'm folding the laundry, I'm feeling the fibers of the clothes, I'm putting the water and the soap in, you know, like it helps me. I like think everybody should really start practicing like being grounded, going outside, putting your feet in nature, feeling connected to something. Because right now, a lot of us feel really floaty. We're like, I'm a paper bag in the wind. And it's not, I get that, but that's like really things you need to do before you start opening up. And then once you do open up, right, that's a whole other conversation of like, shit does happen,
Yeah.
right? A really good way to open your shit without like getting overwhelmed, I think I'm noticing, is the third eye meditation. And I'm not even trying to like plug myself. Like, if you want the third eye meditation, go get it. But I'm just saying, like, it's short and sweet And it's like a practice.
Mhm.
People will use it at first and be like, nothing happened. And I'm like, okay, I'll tell them, try it again. And that's exactly what your spiritual gifts are. It's a practice. It's
Yeah.
a practice. Just like you would go to the gym and lift weights to get stronger, it's the same thing.
And it's going to look different for everyone, and that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong,
Yes.
right? It's not always going to be, "Oh, I visualize this," or "I hear this," or "I know this," or "I'm talking to spirit in this way," or "I'm connecting with the ancestors," right? Like, it is so different. So I think even just giving yourself some context of, like, what are even the options? And, like, tuning in and just starting to get curious around, like, clues when they are showing up. And, like, I don't know, maybe keeping record of it, or even I think even just experimenting with, like, different meditations that you can find and, like, does that work for you? Like, I have started to get better at sitting in a quiet room and meditating, but for a long time, I'm like, I have to physically move my body. I have to walk in order to, like, feel grounded, feel connected, like, get dropped into something.
I'm the same way, honestly.
Well, a lot of it is, like, the willingness to slow down and be in your body in this, like, TikTok brain world that we exist in that I'm
And to
also
not
so guilty
avoid
of.
to not avoid. You're gonna
Mhm.
have a lot of shit come up at first when you start. It's all the shit you've been avoiding and pushing down, which for everybody, it's a lot of it's everything, you know? It's like all the shit. And at first, I remember just sitting there being mad, you know? And I'm like, I don't wanna think about this shit. But it's really like almost clearing out your shit and all your worries and shit, you know, for you to be able to like actually receive messages and like feel stuff. I want everybody to know too, like just because you can't see stuff or hear stuff doesn't mean you're not spiritually in tune. For a lot of us who see and hear things, like for me, I didn't just start out hearing stuff. Like, I started out really feeling and knowing stuff. And I think in the spiritual community, like, we override those gifts a lot. And we
Yeah.
think, like, we're not as powerful because I can't see or hear or smell or whatever. And it's like, no, those are really powerful gifts. I know healers who never see anything, but they feel things that you would think that they're seeing stuff. So it's like, don't discredit and like poop on yourself for like what is happening for you. Because I would say most people are feeling already. They just
Yeah.
don't even know how to like sift through it.
They don't even know how to tune in. Well, and I think it's also important to say, like, going through these practices is not just for people who are doing work like you and I are. It is like that spiritual connection, that awareness, that awakening, like, helps you move through life with more clarity and ease and, like, peace. You know, I think that there's, like, heightened times where once you become aware, it's like we were talking about before we even started recording, like, it's sometimes harder before it gets better, but it, like, goes back to the idea of, like, to be fully alive is to be fully integrated and allow your space to actually experience it all.
Yeah.
And that's what talking about the collective awakening, I think that's what our call is now more than ever. Like, we have been through decades of dissociation.
Yes. Yes. And now we're all like a lot of people are waking up to the truth, you know? And like I'm gonna tell you, like even this past year being psychic and intuitive has been exhausting.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's been exhausting. Like, I know shit that is gonna happen before most people do. And I'm like, "How do I hold all this?" You know? And it's, like, a lot, and it's just like, you know, I'm not, like, meant to hold all of it, but at the same time, like, I am, and that's, like, again, where I have to take care of myself. Like, if you're doing this work and you're opening yourself up spiritually, know that you're also going to have to radically take care of yourself now. You know, because if you don't, you're gonna get all sorts of fucked up and you're gonna be vulnerable, and that's not good. So it's like, learn the basics, you know, learn the basics, practice the basics. And like, I would say too, like, the best thing to do is like learn from somebody. Let somebody like mentor you, you know, work with somebody that you can ask questions. There's so many questions that come up about this. It's like you could write a whole book on this. So it's like ask the questions, get in community, That's why I have like my healer program, the Ultimate Healer School, because like learning this stuff like on your own is a lot. We need a place to talk about it and practice it. Even just channeling, even just mediumship skills, like you need community for that.
Well, especially when this is all so new, right? Like when you started tapping into this, it was like, what is going on here? And I know for a lot of women who listen to this podcast, they have a lot of programming, conditioning, expectations around what diving into these modalities or into this work or into these abilities means. And so it's like the process of coming online for that while also deconditioning is a lot to hold on your own because there's a lot that can feel very messy and conflicting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think that also, it shows even more reason for why Akashic Records, past life kind of work, that kind of healing work can be so powerful because it's like stripping away all of that like external stuff that's been pushed upon you.
Yeah, that's why I feel like, if you're talking about the journey, it would be like talk therapy, Reiki, past life regression, Akashic Records, like that's how I see it. And I think that what's really cool, I think for your audience, even just tapping into their energy is doing Reiki energy healing, like feeling what it feels like to like be in your body, to like move that heaviness and like clear the energy, like to get rid of like the physical shit that's going on inside before it becomes illness and pain.
Well, yeah. I mean, even like when we first started talking, I had not been Reiki attuned yet. I conceptually barely even knew what it was. And then, did Reiki in September. But like the amount that I was able to draw on from that experience in our session yesterday that I would not have had the experience or language for in like, I don't know, whatever that was, July or August, like it all clicks together.
It all like works together too, And you're right. Like in our session, you were doing a lot of heavy work. It's funny because you came into the intention of being like, I'm afraid, like you're like afraid to own your full power, knowing that like, what's next for you is like you to be bigger, is for you to be the healer, right? And what's funny is like you were being the healer yesterday. You were using every tool that and I even gave you new tools. So even like you learning those new tools yesterday, like use them. You're going to do crazy shit with them. Like you did really good yesterday, and I just want people to know like during our session you had a lot of pain come up.
Yeah. Like physical, emotional, like visceral reaction, physical like guys, it was 2.5 hours of wild.
Yeah. I'm like glad we did it because it was like that was all trapping you. And just like to give context of even like what happened yesterday, we did the session and we went first to this life, right? And in this life you had a lot
Not
of
intentionally. We tried to go into the Akashic Records and I physically could not.
Yeah, but because it was like I feel like what was coming up was like we can't move through until we look at this. And we did, and we like took like so much fucking pain out of your body. And then it's funny, like we went back to the records, and before you were struggling to get into a past life, you got into one so fast.
Like immediately.
Yeah, so it was like what this whole thing was blocking you from even doing that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know a lot of people get frustrated. I do too. I'm like, why are we in my childhood bedroom again? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to be here. And it's like, well, sometimes we have to in order to like move forward to see what else is bothering us. And that literally happened yesterday.
Well, especially when so much of what we're carrying is not ours, which is ultimately what we were doing, is like, yes, we were coming in with the intention of doing Akashic Records, past life stuff, but like what was holding me back in this lifetime was generations of bullshit that was stuck in this lifetime that actually, so it's like we were, but we weren't doing the past life stuff. But it was like everyone else's past life stuff we had to sort out.
Yes, yes, you had to do the ancestral generational work first. Like, you literally, like, yesterday, like, I know you're like, "I feel like shit today," but, like, you freed eons of women in your line yesterday. I'd be surprised if you didn't feel like shit today, you know? If you're like, "I feel amazing." I'd be like, "Okay."
Superhuman.
But, like, you remember, like, all the women of your line were, like, crying after you were, like, burning, like, eons and eons of soul contracts with the men of, like, being small, of, like, doing the work for everybody and, like, being the glue, and, like, it was really powerful to even, like, witness you doing that because it was, like, so needed for the line, and I don't
Mhm.
think that not all, like, Akashic Records readers do ancestral generational work. So I feel like they were like, "Go see Leyla, clear this shit, and then you'll see your past life, 'kay?" And I feel like that's exactly what happened. Like, I don't think anything went wrong yesterday. I think it was, like, where we needed to be, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even when I was telling Andrew about it this morning, he was like, "Yeah, that tracks." Like, I'm not surprised.
And it's funny because you threw me for a loop because I pulled a card for you, and it was all about, like, your paternal line and, like, male, and you were like, "Yeah, I don't know."
I was like,
And then you were
"Fuck
like,
that."
actually, all this shit with my dad and the dads in my family, they, like, fucking suck, like, yeah?" I'm like, "Why did you tell me this?" But, like, you knew it as soon as I pulled this fucking card, like, where we were going.
Oh, yeah. I was like, "God, gosh darn it."
You needed that so you could never fucking touch it again. That's one of those things that feels like that's dead and done and
Yeah.
dusted.
Gosh, I
And
hope so.
no, I think so. I think after
If I
all
go
those
if I go
women,
into another Akashic Record session and have to do that
no,
again, like, I'm
I
throwing
don't think
bows.
so. I really think, like, when we were doing it yesterday, especially with all the pain that was coming up, I was like, "She's done." And I feel like you wanted to be done. And also, I feel like baby inside of you was like, "Please end this."
I love it.
You also, I just wanna say, like, again, like, you kicked fucking ass yesterday during that, Like, be proud of yourself, dude. You could seriously call yourself a healer already, you're already doing it,
Oh, thank you.
for real. And I think a lot of us are like, "Well, when can I call myself a healer?" And it's like, you'll know.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of discourse online about, like, the healer thing, where, like, it's, like, rude and ego boosting to call yourself a healer, and it's like, the reason why I call myself a healer is because I do so many things, and it's like, I need a
Yeah.
word to encompass all the shit that I do.
It's so hard to land on something to actually translate what and that I felt that years ago when I was just coaching, right? But it's like trying to land a label on something that is so big and intangible and deep and comprehensive. Like and that's just us in this current reality trying to, clearly define something undefinable. But
Yes, already Spirit is like, "You're gonna come back again on Emily's podcast." I, like, already hearing it.
what'll we be talking about a year from now? Gosh, I don't even know. Who even
Who
knows?
knows?
Who knows?
Is there
Any
anything you wanna ask me?
Oh my gosh. That's a big question. There's like a million things I want to ask you, but we have been talking for an hour and 10 minutes at this point. So, how about you just tell us where we can get connected to you? I know you talked about the meditation. Obviously, people can book a session with you. What else do you have to help facilitate wherever it is that anyone wants to go after this conversation?
Yes, I'm gonna plug myself hard, okay? Are you
Do it.
ready,
You got a lot. I, went to your link tree to, go to your website and was like, "You have 7 million things."
I know, I know. I need to clean it up also, so thank you for telling me that. Okay,
I was super impressed. I'm like, "I don't know, book a call with me." That's what I got.
your girl's
Y
been in the game for a while, okay? And she likes to create, okay? So you can find me first and foremost at Leyla the Healer on Threads and Instagram. I really like Threads. So,
You
like, if
are
you
such a good storyteller on Threads. Follow I don't even remember when I started following you, probably at some point this spring or summer. And like, I feel like you do such an exceptional job of like after a session telling the story of what someone experienced in a way that like makes it feel tangible and intriguing. Like, I have no doubt as to why your business is doing so well because you make it so real and make it like made me want to be like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? How do you do it? You tell the story of the work that you do exceptionally well.
Thank you. Thank you. Because that wasn't always like that. I'm
I'm super
serious.
impressed.
I'm serious. I'm so fucking serious. I was one of those people that like graduated from like writing soap notes and fucking clinical papers. And I was like, I'm talking like a robot. And I like had to seriously work with a coach. I know it sounds so fucking silly, but I was such an APA MLA writer that like I had to like strip down my own shit to be like, okay, here's your fucking voice. Remember like you? Remember like oh, and like making it understandable and like tangible for people.
Yes, you are so good. I get off a call and I'm like, I don't know, we did really good things and their life is changed over the last 6 months.
Yeah, I literally sit here and I like write notes while it's happening. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So we did this, then we did the soul piece, then we did the soul contract, and I write down what you say. And then I sit and I'm like, what was the takeaway of the session?
You're so good. So anyway, all that to say, go follow Leyla on Threads because she's a beautiful storyteller.
I love threads.
I do too. I do
I
too.
love it. It's like my diary.
Basically, it's like, it's the place where I can talk about my work, but mostly anything that anyone comments on is me complaining about being pregnant.
Hey, dude, I would fucking complain about being pregnant too. I'm complaining about you being pregnant and I'm not even pregnant. Like shit. Okay, yeah. So but first of all, follow both of us on Threads. What the fuck are we doing? Okay, number one. Number two, okay, I have a couple things. So first of all, if you're like super new, like you're a newbie, right? Go get the third eye meditation. It's $11. It's cheaper than a sandwich in the United States. Okay.
Cheaper than everything.
That's what I'm saying. So go get the fucking meditation. It's 11 minutes long, okay? And practice with it. If you're like, I want to open my spiritual gifts, I want to open my third eye, that's a great thing to do, okay? The next thing you can do, okay, is do a Reiki session, right? Like kind of like with the steps we're talking about, right? Reiki session's really cool. I have a session called Wild Woman Reiki. It's super deep. I love doing it. It's a 2-hour session. You can book it on my links. I'm also booked up until January 2026 in sessions right now. So if you don't want to wait for me, if you're like, Leyla, I don't want to wait that long, I need help, I have a healer directory that I've made, and I have all of the fucking bomb ass healers on the directory. So if you're like, Leyla, I need a Reiki session, and I don't want to wait for you. If you do, that's totally fine. You can also go work with a healer on there. I can like pair you with somebody that's going to kick ass. Okay. Most of them I trained. So that's really cool.
That
so
helps.
they're like doing what I taught them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another thing that you can do is if you're like, I am a healer, I want to learn the healing modalities. Like I want to do all the shit, right? You can join the Ultimate Healer School, which is my year-long program of like how to be an ethical, multidimensional, grounded healer. We teach 20 healing modalities in a year. So it's basically like a one-stop shop for becoming a healer. And we're like a community of people. We have people all over the world join us from like Singapore, Australia, Germany. It's cool. The Netherlands, right? So like we have people all over the world joining us, which is super cool. And that's a really cool offering too. And then if you're like, I want to do more advanced work, I'd do an Akashic Records session for like digging. Like I want to dig into my shit. So those are the things that I'm doing right now. Yeah, I think those are like the best ways to come into my world right now.
I love it. My interest is peaked in healer school, but I also need to just get this baby out.
You need to have a baby. I think you'll join healer school when you're ready.
It'll be there. It'll be there.
I feel you there. I saw you like that yesterday. I was like, oh.
I also am like, I want to do everything.
I know, dude, this is why I created shit like this for people like you that are like, I want to learn
When I learn
everything,
it all.
It's just
Yeah.
like, that's how I was. I was like, I can't get enough.
Well, and I know me personally, I'm not super attracted to like, oh, I just want to have a Reiki business, right? I learned Reiki. It's so powerful. But my initial thought is, how do I integrate this, right? How do I integrate this? Because everything is so different. And even what we were doing yesterday was like we were doing a
We were
lot.
doing a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Right. And so that's where something like that is like, I don't just want to learn ancestral healing. I don't just want to do an ancestral healing session or certification. Like, because it's everything and everyone that you work with is so nuanced. And as an intuitive, as someone who like can read what people need, like, I think it's helpful to have all of the information.
Yeah, because then okay, well, this isn't going to work for them. I'm going to pivot and use something else. And what's cool about like the Ultimate Healer School that I think like really sets us apart is that we teach the mental health tools and techniques. So we're not like loosey goosey and unsafe and fucking all over the place. Like there is grounded foundational baseline of information. Like, you know how to talk to somebody, you know how to hold space for them, you know how to like hear them and listen to them. Like that I think is really missing from the healers that I see out in the world is the
Oh,
mental
even in the
health.
coaching space, it's like, okay, you can have a 10-step program, but if you don't know how to help someone go beneath the surface or sit with them in the nuance or, hold space for trauma informed conversations, like,
Yeah, yeah. And both the teachers, me and the other teacher, are therapists. So that's cool. We're both therapists and we're both healers. So it really works out. And even if you don't, so people also, this is like a new thing that we're doing in the Ultimate Healer School. People don't want to learn everything like us. Like we're kind of the rare ones, Emily, where we're like, I want to learn everything. But
right.
there's some people that just want to like mix and match. Like maybe they just want to learn the Akashic Records, or they just want to learn Reiki, right? Or they just want to learn mental health tools, right? So we've actually been breaking down parts of the program to just be like, 6 weeks of mental health work,
Yeah.
6 weeks of Akashic Records. So if you don't want to join the whole program, you don't have to. You can literally just come in and learn the modality and like be done.
That's
So
super
that's
cool.
cool too. Yeah, yeah.
Love
So
that.
we give options. We love an option.
All right, Leyla, last question I ask everyone who comes on the podcast is, what does growth look like for you in this season?
Oh wow. I feel like growth for me in this season is being really nice to myself, honestly. I'm a Capricorn. I have 7 placements in Capricorn, so I am a little bit of what you say, an overworker. I am a little bit of what you say, very hard on myself. And I feel like in this season of my life, I'm being called to like let go of the old stories and grow
Mm,
through it and really be easier on myself. And that sounds silly, but it's really true. Like I need to be more of my friend than my enemy.
yeah, that's really big work.
Yeah, girl, girl. It's been this whole it has honestly been summer, fall, and I think it's going to be winter also. Like it's been like very foundational shit. It's like you can't be bigger if you're going to be fucking mean to yourself.
Yeah, because then you just get meaner and your problems get bigger and the voices get louder and the perfection gets harder and the criticism is scarier.
Yeah, I have that Chiron placement, so it's always like, it could be better. It could be better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like rabid almost. And it's like, you know what? Be okay with what is right now. And like, don't fucking work too much. Like, maybe take a fucking vacation.
Yes, please. It's not that serious.
Sagittarius season, I'm doing something.
I love it. Where are you
I don't know
going?
what, but I'm doing it. I
Okay,
don't know yet. I don't know. I'll let you know.
go
Follow
somewhere.
me on Threads.
Talk all about it.
I'll tell you there.
Beautiful, wonderful. Leyla, I do want to ask, because you are an intuitively gifted person, is there anything else coming forward that someone listening needs to hear today?
Oh, I feel like I said that little bit just now for also people. Like, be easier on yourself. Don't judge yourself. Whatever you're feeling is not wrong. Whatever you're feeling is right. Follow what you're getting, follow your body, follow your guidance. Rely on your spirit team, connect with your people and your spirit team, and know that you are never, and I underline this, ever alone.
Yeah. I feel like that is also the biggest piece in entering like spiritual energetic work is like you cannot apply hustle culture to this. You're missing the point completely. If you are trying to perfectionist your way through this, if you're trying to learn everything from a place of like scarcity and not enoughness and trying to fix yourself, you are just repackaging hustle bro culture onto something else, which is something I witness in the spiritual community. And it's like, this is all about integration. This is like feeling it all. This is using different tools and ideas to like be more human.
Yes. And be your true self.
And be the full essence of who you are.
Yes. I love that you use that word essence. I'm never going to not use that ever again.
You can
I was
have
like,
it.
that's a good word for this.
It
essence.
is.
It
is.
It is. And you know what? If you do that thing that you just talked about, the hustle with the spirituality, you're going to get hurt. And how do I know? It happened to me. So be easy on yourself, or spirit will teach you a lesson.
Get your ass handed to you.
I'm dead fucking ass.
Probably on a full moon in the middle of the night.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Emily. But yeah, be easy on yourself, trust yourself. Really get in spaces that challenge you and inspire you, and stop living in victim mentality, because you can't change anybody who wants to still be a victim.
Yeah, I feel like a huge piece is like even just coming to a place of neutrality with yourself.
Yes. Yes.
You
Have
know?
to. You have to. You have to be able to let it go. Absolutely.
Well, and especially if you're coming from the place of like, not even just like, oh, everything happens for a reason, right? But like every piece of my journey is divinely guided towards what's meant for me. What's meant for me won't miss me. And so any piece of this, no matter how it feels, no matter how shitty it is, no matter how hard it is to move through, like I am being guided towards my highest good if I allow it to be.
Yep. Even if it's something that's really shitty that happened to you.
It's holding space for both.
Yeah, it is. It's happening for you. You might not be able to notice that in the moment, and it might feel really bad, but you'll notice later, like, wow, that really like shifted me as a person.
You know what's a mind trip is having the awareness in real time. That's what this year has been for me. It has been the awareness of this is really fucking hard. This is maybe one of the hardest years, physically, mentally, emotionally, I will ever go through. And also, I have peace around it. And also, it's okay. And also, I look forward to what's coming. And also, I can't rush this. And also, this is so hard.
I know all of it exists at once, right?
It's
And there's
wild.
no shame in feeling that all of it exists at once. And like, again, be easy on yourself that you're holding space for all of these things. Same thing with your listeners too. I know it's kind of like, I feel like you're like a mirror for them, and I feel like it's kind of the same thing. And I think it's a collective thing right now. I do think 2026 is going to be a little bit more of a fuck show, So it's like, this is why a lot of us are waking up to these deep ass truths. So honor it, feel it, fucking feel it, let yourself. Because if you don't feel it, it's going to come up again. It's going to be fucking 10 times more annoying.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a lot to say of like, and I don't want this to sound heavy, but it's like part of the responsibility of being a woman who is in tune and alive right now. It's like this collective awakening is for a reason. I think it's interesting that you say we're all going to get there by 2030, because I think we're in the middle of like a much bigger arc in human evolution. And it's like reduced the expectation for me to have to like fix it all right now. But, if you look at like the span of humanity, like I think we are right in the thick of a period of time that will be a defining moment in human evolution.
Absolutely. And I just want you to know it's going to get more real when we see galactics every day walking among us, which will be by 2030.
Okay, this is a whole nother conversation. I'm going to stop recording and we are going to talk about this after I pee because I want to hear what you think about this. But
Okay.
I've got to cut this off or my podcast producer is going to come after me. Hey friend, I hope this conversation sparked something real in you. Something that feels like truth, curiosity, or the courage to keep becoming. If this episode resonated, I'd love for you to share it. Take a screenshot, post it to your stories, or send it to one of your friends. You can always find me over on Instagram at Emily Rushel, where I love continuing these conversations and hearing your takeaways. Truly, your DMs are one of my favorite parts of podcasting, so don't be shy. I'd love to reflect and connect with you over there. I'm so grateful to be surrounded by a community of women who ask hard questions, sit in the discomfort of the unknown, blaze new paths forward, and ultimately come home to their wild and waking selves. See you next week.